I'm News4JAX and Chief Meteorologist David Heckard. Well, the winter hasn't felt very winter-like so far. In fact, we've cleared the halfway point of meteorological winter, and it's really been a warm winter. I know we had a big cold spell around Christmas time and then another cold spell in mid-January, but get this, 14 days of the 31 days in December had temperatures above average, and so far in January, 23 days, 17 have featured temperatures above average, including a record high earlier in the month of 84 degrees. So no doubt about it, despite those two cold spells, it's been a pretty warm period, really, of winter time. So what's going on exactly? Well, a lot of this has to do with our good friend La Nina. Now, this is the same system, or same global system, that creates an active hurricane season in the Atlantic. But it actually creates pretty quiet and pretty warm conditions here locally in the wintertime. So this is a typical jet stream pattern in what we would call a quote-unquote typical year. One thing you notice is this area right here. This is what we call a subtropical jet. And this subtropical jet gets going. This produces rain and thunderstorms across much of the southeast and even portions of Florida. And then notice this dip right here in what we call the polar jet stream. Well, sometimes that dip gets more and more pronounced, which oftentimes leads to prolonged periods of average, if not below average temperatures. Now, watch what happens to our jet stream pattern in a La Nina winter pattern. One thing you notice is this subtropical jet doesn't really exist. We really don't see it that much in a La Nina pattern, and our polar jet, while it is a little bit more pronounced, it kind of flattened. Notice that's also lifted itself a little bit further towards the north. So what this does is two things. One, it keeps all the cold air in the Midwest and Northeast bottled up, and secondly, kind of creates a railroad track for storm activity to kind of work its way through the central and eastern United States. That actually keeps our area pretty warm and pretty dry during a typical La Nina pattern. This is the third straight La Nina pattern we have seen in Florida and Georgia during the wintertime, and we don't see it really shutting down anytime soon. Here's the temperature outlook for the next 8 to 14 days. That takes us through late January and early February. And notice this pronounced area here of orange and red. This whole corridor is temperatures favored to be above average for that period. And I don't see a big shutdown here in the warmth as we head into the month of February. In fact, the entire February outlook from the Climate Prediction Center showing the entire southeast and all of the state of Florida anticipated warmer than average conditions. So our warm winter will likely march on here as we head into the month of February and kind of close the book on meteorological winter, which of course runs between December 1 and February 28th. If you like the warm weather, I think you're going to like the month of February. This does not mean we can't still see some cool spells, but a prolonged cold period is unlikely over the next several weeks. I'm Assistant Chief Meteorologist David Heckard for Channel 4, the local station.